Let me ask you a question. Are you Lionel Richie? If the answer is yes, you don't need to watch this video. But if the answer is no, continue watching to find out why Lionel is the only person who can say you, say me in English. So welcome back to our channel. I'm Rob with the Balkan School. The Balkan School, it's a language school based in the French-speaking part of Switzerland. So get in touch on the contact details in the comment section below for more information. Okay, so in English we have two very similar verbs. We have the verb to say and the verb to tell. Now, most of my students are French native speakers, and both of these words are most commonly translated as one word in French, which is dire. Okay? In English, it could be say or it could be tell. So consequently, people often confuse these two words when they then speak English. Now, for the complicated grammar part, the difference is the verb to say can't be followed by a direct object. And the verb to tell must be followed by a direct object. For example, me, you, him, her, us, them. These are your direct objects. Okay, you always have some exceptions. There are some fixed phrases, etc., where you'll have some exceptions. But on the most part, this is the rule. The verb to say, no direct object, and the verb to tell, a direct object. Okay, let me give you some examples and we can decide together if these are correct or incorrect. So, first up, my boss said me to do it. Now, the verb to say, it can't take a direct object, so this is incorrect. The me here is incorrect because you can't directly use an object like me after this word. Next example, my boss told me to do it. Now, this is correct. The verb to tell must have a direct object. In this context, we have the direct object me. So with the verb to tell, it's correct. This is what you want to say. I'll give you some variations. Again, you have to decide if it's correct or not. My boss said that I have to do it. Now this is correct because there's no direct object. Here we have I, which is the subject for the next verb, have to. So here it's okay because the verb to say doesn't have a direct object. And the opposite, my boss told that I have to do it. Not correct because there is no direct object for the verb to tell and it must have one. The last examples now. So my boss said you have to do it. So this is when we use the verb to say to introduce a quote, when we refer to what somebody said in the past. Here it's fine because it's my boss said, open speech marks, you have to do it. So the you, it's not the object of the verb to say, it's the subject of have to in the quote. And then the opposite, my boss told you have to do it. Not correct because the verb to tell must have an object. And this is a very long and complex explanation. So to try and help you, I have devised something called the Lionel Richie test. And with a few simple questions, you should be able to avoid this mistake. So let's go. So this is your starting question. Next question. You need to ask yourself, is there a direct object after the verb? So me, you, him, her, us, them. If the answer to this question is no, you have to use the verb to say. For example, my boss said to do it. But if the answer is yes, there is a direct object after the verb, you then need to ask yourself a very important question, is are you Lionel Richie? If the answer to that question is yes, then it's acceptable for you to say you, say me, like his famous song. But if the answer is no, and you are not Lionel Richie, you have to use the verb to tell. Okay, my boss told me to do it. Okay, so next time when you're speaking and you hear yourself say, my boss said me, think, Lionel Richie. I'm not Lionel Richie. I can't say that, it's not correct. After this explanation, people often ask, why is Lionel Richie's song incorrect? And the answer is, it's not incorrect. It's when he says, say you, say me, it's an imperative, it's an instruction. And he wants you to repeat what he said. He says, say, in speech marks, say you, say me, say it forever, etc., etc. Maybe you know the words if you're a big Lionel Richie fan. If you're not, maybe you should get into him. He can help you improve your English. Okay, so it's a small breakdown for you to try and help you avoid this mistake. It's a very common mistake, very understandable, but you can improve your English quickly by making this change. So just remember, you are not Lionel Richie, only on karaoke night. Remember that, and you'll avoid this mistake in the future. So I hope you found that useful. I hope it helps you avoid this mistake. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share with family and friends, and I'll be back in the near future with another video for you. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.